Across the globe we're shining bright, telling stories that feel so right. From every culture, every place, we're building love, we're sharing grace. Oh, we see the beauty in every soul. Together we're stronger, making us whole. Legacy lives in all that we do. Mogul TV, it starts with you. Mogul TV, we're changing the game. One voice, one heart, one name. Streaming hope, shining through. A better world for me and you. Mogul TV, where we belong. Our stories live, our hearts stay strong. Mogul TV, we're changing the game. One voice, one heart, one name. 52 countries, love on display. Breaking boundaries every day. Feel the rhythm.
Good morning, and welcome to the Stop Playing Small Summit. I am your host, Tameka Chapman, and I am joined by Coach Sherry, Dr. Bree Charles, and Alicia Sylve. Welcome. Thank you for being here. If you've been anywhere else, but you chose to be here with us. Let's appreciate your time. And so today, Stop Playing Summit is all about mental wellness. Embracing our mental wellness. Realizing that our mental wellness should be prioritized. And what does that look like? What does the journey look like? So you're going to hear from Coach Sherry, you're going to hear from Dr. Charles, and you're going to hear from Alicia as we really dissect the moment that we realized that we weren't prioritizing our mental wellness, what that looked like. But also the steps that we overcome. Right? The substances we took to address, but also what does life look like now that we are embracing a healthy dose of mental wellness on a daily basis, right? So before we kick off, let's introduce our lady, Coach Sherry. Let us know, who is Coach Sherry?
Oh, well, thank you. Well, Coach Sherry is I'm a podcast host and author, Seeking Happy, Finding Joy.
Awesome. Dr. Bree Charles. Who is Dr. Bree Charles?
Well, hello, everyone. I am a transformational speaker, author, retired veteran, and I help people reclaim their voice, identity, and purpose, and walk in that purpose that God created them to walk in. So that is about me, and an entrepreneur. So I am a visionary. I am a woman of many things.
I love it. And Alicia Sylve, let us know who is Alicia Sylve.
Absolutely. So hello, good morning, everyone. I am Alicia Sylve. First of all, let me just say I am a mom of two beautiful angels. Woo, woo. But I am also the creator and founder of the Soul Experience channel, where we promote positive programming on the Mogul TV Global Network. But I am a true believer of purpose. I love walking in purpose. I love what it means to walk in purpose. And I love just pushing other people into their true purpose.
Right. I love that. It's all about being on purpose, in purpose, right?
Absolutely.
Being in purpose, on purpose, being intentional in all that we do. And one of the most intentional things that we can do is prioritize our mental wellness. And I just want to kick us off in the conversation. A lot of times we are moving through life. We are putting everybody else first. We are doing all of the things, taking on all of the roles, and doing it with excellence, doing it with at least what we consider excellence, doing it without complaining about it. And what happens is we get buried so deep and so far down in our priorities that we're not even understanding that things that are happening in our lives, the breakdown, the physical breakdown, the emotional breakdowns, the mental breakdowns, it's all because we are not prioritizing ourselves, whether that's self-care, if you want to call it that, or whether it is your mental wellness. So, we're just going to kick it off. Let's talk about a moment where you realized that your mental wellness was not being prioritized, that you weren't prioritizing your mental wellness, right? And then when you answer that, tell us what was happening in your life at that moment when you decided or you realized it. Let's start with you, Dr. Bree.
Caught me by surprise there. Okay, so I realized when that I needed to invest in myself when I was my nephew. I'm a veteran, so I had lost many people in my life. I was confusing functioning with well-being, always trying to mask. I'm okay. I can handle this. One more hit, dust yourself off. Just put it in the back of you. So my fear was death. Having PTSD in the military, doing 3 Iraq tours, things like that. So a lot of that stuff started to take like a heavy burden on me. So when my nephew passed, I it was like I couldn't hold no more. I couldn't hide that I'm okay. This was like the last straw for me because it's like, what am I doing wrong? Why wasn't I there? All my stuck points of it being my fault. I'm not helping anybody. I'm not saving anybody. And that's when I realized that, I really need mental help, serious mental help. And that's where I signed myself into the Rush Home, where I did intensive PTSD therapy. And then just come to realize that um, my mental health didn't just start just from the military. I had been carrying things from the past of being a child, from childhood youth trauma to adult trauma into the military trauma. And that's when I had to say, you know what? Enough is enough. No more can I go through life with just acting like I'm okay. I have to do something about it. I have to reclaim my voice and my identity. And how I started just doing that is by, God said to me to stop looking at to stop trying to fix the things and save the things for people I've already done. Do something that you can. So that's where I picked up from there.
That's a whole word. Stop doing for those who've already done for us. I love that. Coach Sherry, let's talk about it for you. A moment when you realized that you weren't prioritizing your mental wellness, and what were you doing at that
Wow.
point?
All righty. So a few years ago, I lost my husband quite unexpectedly. And when I finally felt that I'd recovered from that journey, I was ready to start a new chapter, and I moved from the Midwest to Florida. And 5 weeks later, Hurricane Ian ripped through the state, and then I lost the home that I had just purchased. Or it was almost destroyed. I didn't totally lose it. And it was just this overwhelm of I was 1,100 miles away from family and friends that I knew, my village, so to speak. So I was alone and in this massive overwhelm, and trying to find the answers, trying to recover from that. And I just remember contractors were impossible to find. I was doing all of this by myself, making decisions, trying to clean out the muck and the mire and find people and find supplies and find materials. And I just remember reaching this point. I'm just sitting by now I've gutted my house, but it's still, everything I owned was still sitting on the curb waiting to be picked up. And I just remember sitting and just surrendering like I am not, I've lost my husband. I thought I recovered. And like Dr. Bree said, no, I really wasn't. I had just been masking, covering it up, putting on pretty faces. But at that point I just knew that I couldn't do it alone. I just could not do it alone. And it's when I surrendered. It's when I surrendered. I sought the Father and just laid it all before his feet.
Right. I love that. And that's exactly what surrender is, right?
Mhm.
Laying it all down, laying it at his feet, not feeling like I have to keep carrying what was not mine. Right. And so with that, because I know Alicia, for a long time, we have called her the purpose pusher, right?
Right.
That is something that she spoke to me about a long time ago. I don't know if she remembers, but we spoke a long time ago about surrender and what surrender looks like. And, you know, for a lot of us, it can look different. What are we surrendering to God? But Alicia, I would love to hear your take on the moment you realized that you weren't prioritizing your mental wellness. And I want to know from you, what is the thing that finally made you say enough is enough?
Mm-hmm. So, if I can take it back, because I'm only so many years old, but looking back at my younger years, as a young person, you don't just really prioritize mental wellness because you pick up and go with the like lightning. And
Right.
so, looking back, just being everybody's yes woman, just giving everybody access to you who doesn't necessarily deserve access to you, and then carrying other people's baggage that they done dropped on you. Been there, done that. And so my breaking point came where I was having anxiety and didn't really know where it was stemming from. And as a young person, you just go with the flow, But it was not until I actually, like Sherry, I surrendered. And, I was like, okay, God, I don't know what's causing this, but you don't have to bring me out because it doesn't feel good. And so after praying and seeking God's face, I realized it was other people's baggage that I was carrying that was weighing on me, had me upset and crying and seeking God like, I had done something. So I had to let it go. And that's what I did. I let it go and I stopped being a yes woman for everybody. It took some work on me to say, no, I cannot do it. I don't have the capacity. I don't have it right now. And it's not that you love them less, but you just prioritize your mental wellness. So that was my breaking point, realizing that I was carrying other people's baggage and I'm just, God is yours. I don't even want it because it did not feel good.
Right. And oh my gosh, if you're anything like me, how many times have you carried somebody else's baggage
Mhm.
far too long? I think, oh my gosh, it was so many years ago when my husband told me, he says, you just attract people with problems. Wow. I'm just like, listen, I'm nice. People feel that they can trust me with their things that they're going through. They know I'm gonna pray for them. And the thing about it is, not only was I praying for, but I was trying to work in the background. How can I figure this out for them? How can I fix this for them? How can I do this and do that? And that's not what I was supposed to be doing. And so what happens? You become bogged down and stressed and tired and frustrated. Nothing's happening because you too busy trying to fix everybody else. You won't fix yourself. You
Right.
won't work on you. Right?
That's a big thing because another one was people pleasing.
Right.
I've spent decades, and I mean decades, trying to show and prove myself to other people that, hey, I'm good, I'm a good person, I'm a good girl. I just, hey, I could be that friend, I could be there for you. And that is another burden carrier. When you've been traumatized so long that you're trying to please other people so they can be happy, and you're slowly losing yourself. That is another big one that I always say that you never really stop learning and growing. Right.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I'm 56 years old, and it's like I still learn, still go through things and say, you know what, because I had that mental health like training and stuff like, wait, I'm not going back in that stuck place where I'm valuing other people more than I value myself. So
Yeah,
yes, that's another one of is people pleasing.
Yeah.
Once you
absolutely.
wake
Yeah.
up from that, you have
Yeah.
to keep moving forward.
Right. I think sometimes too, it's just, and especially as women, and we do this willingly, but over the course of time, we just give away so many pieces of ourselves. You know, we're the mom, we're the employee, we're the spouse, the sister, the daughter, we're, you know, the volunteer, we're all of these things. And when we're in that moment, we're, you know, we're willingly giving away those pieces of ourselves, but then we finally, we're empty. You know, you've emptied your cup and you get to this point where, you're not sure who you are anymore or what your purpose is for that next season because you've not taken the time to pour into yourself.
That's
I love
good.
that. And I would even chime into that on that people pleasing part. That was actually a part of my childhood, trying to please to make sure that I was seen as valuable, to make sure that I was seen as smart, to make sure that I was seen as, I'm capable. And then if that's not corrected, it goes into your adult years of now who I'm trying to please. I'm trying to
Right.
please a supervisor. I'm trying to please these peers and all these people to show I'm valuable, I'm
Yes.
worthy, having to break free of that. So Bree, you're right on target. Talking about that people pleasing and having to break free from it. Once you break free from that, I believe a whole new world opens up for you. A whole new world opens up that you may not even realize was just sitting right there in front of you the entire time.
It's sense of freedom. It's a sense of freedom. I know that, when I stopped trying to please people who I realized clearly didn't have the love for me that I had for them or the goals for me that I had for myself. It's like freedom when you realize that, hey, these people don't value me. I have to value myself. It's all about keeping God first, and then you
Yes.
can stop looking at man or trying to please man or trying to please people at your job, because no one loves you and sees you like he does. So
Right.
therefore, when you see what he sees in yourself, then you be like, what am I? Why did I spend so much time and years on trying to love this person when my eyes should have been on a man who the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, who has loved me all along. It's like a sense of freedom. You stop crying like, what am I wasting tears and energy on? You know, I am wasting tears and energy, and now you just get up like the phoenix. That's why in my book I love that the phoenix is you rise, and when
Yeah.
when I rise from something, and just finally make that decision to say no more. I'm rising from this. I'm not going back in that. No, it's a sense of freedom, guys. I can tell you, because
Yes.
it's still fresh within me. Like, I got this. Nothing can stop or hurt me now. Now that I know my worth.
I
Yeah.
love that.
And
I
that's
love
exactly what purpose is for me. Purpose is freedom. And it doesn't get easier. It gets easier as you're walking in purpose, but it's still not an easy road, because you're gonna have times where you want to stray off. But going back to people pleasing, and then we're gonna move on to Mika. But
Go
I
on.
think it's because of how God conditioned our hearts. We have hearts, and we want to be there for people. We want to help people. We want to see other people grow too. But we also have to learn how to prioritize ourselves. And like Sherry said, just being able to pour back into us. So those same people that we're pouring into, we're going to need somebody on the back end to pour back into us, and those into them. So it's all like a water stream trickling down and recycling itself.
Right.
Everybody needs someone to pour back into them, but sometimes we can just give it all away and not have that water trickling.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah.
I love that. We are at a certain age in our lives, but we are wiser. We have more wisdom. We have more discernment. Um, we're more comfortable with saying, "Hey, I'm not doing that," or "Hey, that's not for me," and
Right.
being okay with it. Right? Um, we have. We're at a position where we can now speak life into others because, again, we've gone through some things. We've acknowledged some things about ourselves, but we can also see that in other people. We can see where they are going a little bit left because you were there. You were there before as well, right? What I like to do right now is I would like to ask each of you that if you could look back, look back on your life, right? When before you made the choice of, I prioritize me, I prioritize my mental wellness. What is one thing that you would be shocked about? I would say that. Let's just start there first. What is one thing that you would be shocked about your life today had you been 20 years ago or 15 years ago, or let's just say 5 years ago? What is one thing that you probably wouldn't have imagined 5 years ago about your life today as it pertains to your level of awareness and prioritization of who you are and your mental wellness? Coach Sherry.
Oh, give me a second.
I know, right?
That one.
Yeah, you know how I felt. I was like, oh, wow. I wasn't ready.
How fast can that come? No, really, I need a second to process on that one.
But and I would start that off then. For me, I would say probably about 20 years ago when I was in that phase of people pleasing. I was working a 9 to 5. I was doing all the things for so many people after the 9 to 5, during the 9 to 5, before the 9 to 5. Like I was helping everybody else build something. And it was before the whole business thing came to me of, you should be getting paid for this. I mean, I had friends galore, okay, because they knew that, oh, Tameka's gonna knock it out of the park. Oh, she's gonna take 5 minutes to get that done. Oh, it's not gonna take her long. She already knows what she's doing. Like I had people calling me every single day on the line, right? And so for me, I would not have imagined at that time that I would be where I am now of just living a peaceful life, talking to a handful of people that I actually like to talk to, right? That's not always looking for a handout, but also pouring as well, right? And if you had told me that 20 years ago, like your life is going to be very simple, very boring, I'd be like, what? You have got to be kidding me. Ain't no way. Like it's going to be to a point where I have peace. I have mental peace, peace within myself. I have a peace that can't nobody take away. I don't care how many things that I'm doing, how many projects I'm a part of. I have to keep my inner peace. And if I feel that it's slipping away at any given point, I know how to pull back, right? Because I didn't know how to pull back then. I was just like, I'm just going forward. I'm moving forward. I got this. I didn't have any kids. I had this husband, but I had no kids, right? So it was more of just realizing today that I really am at a place of peace, like in me, around me, and understanding that I'm setting that tone, that peaceful tone within my home. Anytime that I show a peace and I have a calm voice, the house is calm. The house is calm. But when I rah, 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 they like rah, rah, rah too. Because, they say anybody can get this, mama. So for me, that would have been a shock to me 20 years ago. Coach Sherry.
All right. Thanks for that moment to process. And then Sherry. For me, I would say that I grew up in a household. I grew up where constantly it was heard, what will people think, Sherry Lynn? What will people think? What will people think? That came from the home life that I have. And so oftentimes there was this mask and there was this taking actions or not using my voice because I was fearful that what would someone think of what I said. And so for many, many years, that silenced me. It kept me from walking confidently and boldly in who I am as a person. And so that's where I learned today that I don't have to worry about what people will think, because God's got the right people in my path that are going to hear what I have to say when it's my time to say that. And so absolutely now I am also living in this place of peace and confidence of and being able to boldly walk out my faith, or being boldly to walk out what it is that I am convicted of or convicted by.
Awesome.
That's good.
Alicia, let's talk.
Yeah, so let's talk. For me, I would say being out as forefront as I am today. I've always been a background player. I love being in the back seat. I love doing the background work, and still to a certain point today, I'm still in the background. But if I think about it, I don't think I would have ever expected to be the face of anything. So, and like I'm the face of my own lanes. I'm good at creating my own lanes. I'm good at creating the tables. So, but I never would have expected that because I was uh I was comfortable, during the series of owning her revival moment. That's one thing that we talked about. God coming in to disrupt that comfortable space. And so, yeah, here I am today. Living out not so much as a dream because I never imagined even being here. I think I don't know. My biggest dream may have been somewhere in the education field, teaching a classroom or something. Not in a million years would I thought I'd be, on such a platform as this. So I'm grateful for it all, though.
Look at you now. Hey, look at you now. All right, Dr. Bree, please share with us, what is something that would have shocked you a long time ago as to who you are now?
Yeah, 5 years ago. I heard you say 5 years ago, and I was sitting here. It was so grateful. It felt so good, ladies, to be last. By the way, I had some time. So 5 years. When I look like 5 years ago, I was a mess. I was a mess, and I was so confused. And I look at it now, but you couldn't tell me then I was a mess. I was as a veteran, we're taught to survive. That's how we live. Don't mind it don't matter. No pain, no gain. So I've went through most of my life with picking up that pattern of just putting things to the back. I'm not going to pay it any attention. I'll be okay. This is just one. I'll make it through. And I just look back now like I was a total mess.
Yeah.
And because I thought that I was surviving, I thought that I was surviving in that realm of hurt. And I look at myself now and say, oh my goodness, had I not, made that decision to free myself from that, I would have still been just in that realm of surviving instead of thriving like I am today. So it's like that whole just realizing that I was in a place where I was, because I have been through so much trauma in my life, I wanted to save everybody. I could save everybody. I could do it. I'm going to save, and when I would lose people, it was like, well, why did they die? Why couldn't, I've had a total of 4 young people that I held very close to my heart. Like, why, why is this happening? Why couldn't I save them? So I would really come down on myself, like, why wasn't I there? When you're in the military, you're away from your family. So you're missing a lot of things that's going on. And, you start picking up things like, oh, this was my fault. I should have been there. Your children have issues from how they grew up. And it's like, oh, if I was a better parent, if I would have been there, because you're not always there in the military. So, everything was my fault. Everything was my fault. What could I done better? But once I realized that, okay, the straw that broke the camel's back was losing my nephew. Another nephew was like, okay, like I can't, because now you start to, when you're listening to yourself, you're starting to think that all this is my fault. And this is where sometimes mental health is a very serious thing, because then this is where suicide starts to come in. This is where you start like, I'm useless. I'm useless here. I'm not doing anything, God. So why am I even here? I don't even need to be here because I'm not helping and saving nobody. So I'm a failure. Until you realize that, when I realized that God said, you are not the savior. You are not the savior. I am. Stop focusing on those things. And then, I just had to realize that, I am powerful. I am worthy. Let me use my power for things that I can do instead of for things, because I can't resurrect anybody. I can't do that. So it took me to see the value in myself, and then that's where I just took off with the businesses. I just it took off with the business, wanted to better myself, and realized that my power is helping other people reclaim what they lost. Same things, the way I lost things, is helping others reclaim their voice, their identity, find their peace, help them. That's the power that I have within me. So yeah, that's I'm in a better space today where now I think I'm what they say, all that in a bag of chips. You can't tell me that I'm not worthy. I am worthy. You hear me? You can no longer take my past and hurt me with it. You can't do that. My past does not define who I am today. So you can't do that. My name is Bridget L. Charles. Excuse me.
Come on.
I am worth something. I am beautiful. For so long, I thought that I was just the ugliest rock on the planet.
Oh.
Because of the things that I grew up hearing. It's like, I'm not those things. You said that. God didn't. I am who God says I am, and I am a child of God, and I am prosperous and wonderfully made. And I talk to myself every day. I don't listen to myself, but I talk out loud to myself every morning, so I can hear myself say these things. No, I am worthy. I am worthy. You're not going to make me believe that I'm not. Yes, I do belong here. So it was a long journey, and I'm just blessed today to be here in the mind frame that I am now. And Tameka, I like what you said, because I was like, when God says come out your comfort zone, as I'm used to mentoring to soldiers and to my children, and God says, I have a bigger plan for you. You looking in the wrong direction. So now it's like, I come into the speaking world. I just get on YouTube and I start making videos, and then somebody said, you could get paid for that. I was like, what? You could get paid for speaking?
For sharing your story.
Sharing your story.
That's the bigger part. When we've gone through something, it's important that we share. It's important that we share the journey. It's important that we share the things that we've gone through, the ups and the downs. Don't just share the pretty stuff. Don't just share the wins. Like, share the journey, because it gives other people hope. There's somebody watching right now. They're watching us right now, and they're probably going through some things. In today's time, we're all going through something, right? It's not always the same. However, when we share our journey, when we share the things that we've gone through, when we share the resilience and the perseverance of getting through those challenges, it empowers somebody else who's listening. They're looking for somebody to tell them, hey, it's okay. Hey, it's going to be all right. It's not going to be like this forever. Everybody has a season of growth, and growth is not necessarily going to feel good, right? And a lot of times we don't want to go through the growing season, because it means that, yes, there's something great on the other side, but that means that I'm getting ready to go through some stuff that I don't know if I'm really ready to tackle. I don't know if I'm really strong enough to withstand. And with that, with sharing your journey of what it is that you've gone through, it gives them hope. It gives them knowledge of, what she's gone through it. I think I can get through it too. I can do this, right? And so, one of the things that I would love for you all to do, so we're not going to be here that much longer. This has been really good and insightful and eye-opening already, but I would love for you all to speak to a woman today. And the woman that I want you to speak to today is that woman that you were 10 years ago. Because there's a woman today who is our age, okay, but she's where we were 10 years ago. The things that we have gone through, the things that we were going through, the things that we experienced, the feelings and the emotions that we had, the financial situations, the emotional situations, the physical situations. Because Bree, you said you thought you were ugly. I thought I was fat for a long time. And I was just like, your girl is full figure. Y'all better get with it. Okay. However, there's a woman, she is sitting and she's going through some things and she don't know how to get herself out of that. What I would like you to do right now is speak to her while she is in her survival mode. She is stuck in survival mode, Dr. Bree. right? I want you to ask her one thing she would tell you today.
I'm ready for this one. Look, I'll happily go for this one. I'll take the lead on this. I will say, sis, right? Let me get up on the camera, sis. You have to get around people who will uplift you. You know, you have to get around people who will empower you. You know, my grandmother used to say, you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas, right? If you want to be powerful, then get around powerful people. But I remember those days of my finances were messed up. I didn't know, you know, you have to get around and first of all, first is to make that decision. You know, if you can't make the decision, or if I remember sometimes just not being able to pray because I didn't have nothing in me. I just was empty. And then people think you have to go through a long prayer, you speak in tongues for God to hear you. You don't just, when you are at that lowest point, just help me. Father, help me. Make that decision to be able to hear his voice, and he will give you that strength and that power and that direction that you need. And then once you do, it's just one step at a time. Now, the faith of a mustard seed is so true. If you just have that little small faith and just give yourself that little bit of grace, say, I can make it another day. One little step at a time, one little brick at a time will build you a whole house. So I would just say, stay strong and know that this too shall pass. Make that decision. Be resilient. Don't give up. Because, you know, I tell many people who also have dealt with suicide, can you imagine if Bree Charles today decided to not be here anymore? The lives that I would never touch, and the hearts that I would never fill or save. You know, so give yourself grace. One decision, one step, one thing at a time, and get around people who are going to lift you up and empower you.
I love that.
Amen.
Get yourself in the right community that supports, empowers, uplifts, engages, and energizes. Okay. Alicia, please speak to the woman who is stuck in survival mode and she is not clear on her purpose and how to move forward. She's not clear on anything in life. All she knows is she's just here.
All right, I'm like Bree. Let me get a little closer to the camera. Look, sister girl, we've been there before. We all go through things, and that's not to discredit what you are going through. But you are what we call perfectly positioned, because this is the time where you get to spend with God to see where exactly you need to be going, what steps you need to be taking. So give it all over to him. Pray to him. Ask him for guidance. And decide, like Bree said, get off the merry-go-round. You know, a lot of times we on a merry-go-round in life, and it's just going round and round and round. And we think that we cannot get off because of fear, because of ashamed, being ashamed of, like Sherry said, of what people will say, of what people will think about us. But no, sis, it's time. Spend time with God, ask him for the direction, and follow his voice. You know, and I'm saying it like it's just that simple. Once you find purpose, you're gonna feel a whole lot freer, but you're gonna have to go through some things. And this merry-go-round is you going through those things. You want to throw up, you feeling sick to your stomach, but that's God taking you through whatever the process he has for you at this very moment, perfectly positioned, for you to realize, okay, God, I'm going to follow your voice. I'm going to do what you say. I'm going to go where you say. Because at the end of the day, I want to walk like him. I want to talk like him. I want people to see him when they see me. So, sis, you're perfectly positioned. Take the time out to do the work. And yeah, that's all I got.
That's all she got.
That's all I got.
I knew that was coming. I love it. That was very powerful. Very
And
powerful.
I don't want to discredit anybody's walk that they are experiencing. But a lot of times we stay in it too long. And that's when God has to come in and disrupt. But I'm on this journey now. We talked about God coming in to disrupt, but if I can show you what that disruption look like, you don't want to go through it. So I'm giving you the steps that you need to take now so that God does not have to disrupt, that you can walk in the purpose that he has for you freely. So yeah, don't stay in that thing too long.
I love it. I love it. And
And
Coach
Coach
Sherry,
Sherry,
as you
as
are
you are
speaking
speaking
to
to
a woman
a
who's
woman
stuck in
who
survival mode, speak to her, to the woman who feels like she's lost everything. She's not sure on, the next step to take or the first step to take after feeling like life has thrown too many curveballs her way.
Okay. I was going to go a different direction, but with that question, I guess I would say to understand the difference between being happy and understanding joy, because happiness is fleeting. Happiness is tied to a moment. It's tied to a hug, a child's laugh, that particular happy moment that you're in. But when it's gone, then there you are again, seeking to fill that void, seeking to find something to fill that void, that purpose that's there. But understanding that joy is a gift from God. Joy can coexist with difficult times. And joy is a place where your peace comes from. And so understanding that difference and being able to seek joy instead of being happy in the moment. And something I was going to piggyback on that was already said is that the choices that you've made that got you to the place where you're at now, that's just a place that you've been. It's not a place for you to live. So choices that you've made that have created shame, guilt, fear, that does not define who you are. Because once we repent from any choices, anything that we've done in our life, then God no longer sees you that way. He sees you as his daughter, loved and chosen beyond measure. And so that's where we focus forward, is that don't live in that space where that you've allowed yourself to be, but instead just seek him and know that you are loved and chosen, and beyond anything that we can ever imagine, that there's purpose for your life.
Yeah, I love that. You are loved and chosen. You are a called daughter of the Most Highest King. Okay.
Yes. Amen.
Thank you for sharing that. Like, this has been really, really a really good conversation. I kind of don't want it to end because there is so much more that I know that we can talk about. And maybe this will bring us about for another conversation on the Stop Playing Small conversations. But before we do wrap up, I want to give each of you an opportunity to, one, just talk about some things that you are that you're working on, because a lot of times we've just talked about being in that survivor mode, not moving forward, being stuck, being stagnant, and allowing other people's priorities to be first and foremost. But I love that each of you are actively working in your calling. You're actively working in your purpose, and you're bringing a greater impact to the world because of it. So, Dr. Sherry, can you please talk to us a little bit about what is it that you have going on right now that would allow people to get a chance to know Coach Sherry? Did I call you Dr. Sherry? I think I called you Dr. Coach Sherry. Coach Sherry, let the people let us know what it is that you're working on, and how can people get in contact with you and stay connected.
Oh, thanks for that. I do have a podcast, Seeking Happy, Finding Joy. I also have a private Facebook community called Seeking Happy, Finding Joy. It's a safe space where we grow, learn, connect, and have a lot of wonderful activities and challenges and teachings going on in that community as well. And then there's also a book called Overdue. And that is for that seasoned sister, some stories that shouldn't remain untold, that will show women how to have hope and be encouraged, regardless of what their circumstances been.
I love that. The Seeking Happy, Finding Joy. You just spoke on that happiness is not the same as joy, right?
Right.
So make sure you all connect with Coach Sherry at seekinghappyfindingjoy.com. That's our website. And so you'll be able to connect with Coach Sherry there on her platform. Tune into the podcast. I know you're going to be blessed. If y'all enjoy Coach Sherry today, you'll enjoy her on her podcast as well.
Thank
Bree, let us know what it is that you have coming up and what it is that you're working on and doing right now in this season of your life. You're on mute, Dr. Bree.
Thank you. In this season, I am working. We all know the man is the head of the household, right? God created man first. Men with mental health are not as voiceful as women. So I have created the Big Take Back Men's Summit that is happening August 22nd from 10 to 1 p.m. And this is where I want to hear the voices of our men. How can we reclaim their voices, their purpose, and their identity? And along with the Big Take Back the Men Summit, we are having a Partners in Purpose. What does it look like to support the man? What does it look like to empower him and encourage him to keep being that provider, that leader that we need in our societies? Okay, so that's what I'm doing. And you can always find me on www.b3unstoppable. That's where you can get, and it's a free summit. It's free, okay? And this is what I mean, about, not silencing yourself and getting around people who are going to pour into you and empower you, because that's what the Men's Summit is about. Because I care about our men, the leaders in our community. We need them to take their place and stand so we can, support them in that. And I'm on Facebook. But if you go to my website, www.b3unstoppable, you will find every link to all my social media platforms. You will be caught up to whatever I am doing in the community, because I'm always doing something.
I love this. I love the fact that you are tending to the emotional needs of men, right? I think it's very important. I love the fact that as women, we don't sit around and wait. We actually just put it into action and make it happen. I was actually having a conversation with G a few weeks ago. And I said, hey, this is what I'm looking to. And his response was, okay, let's make it happen. I'm just like, no, I need you to lead it. He says, well, you know what? Sometimes, Meek, it takes the women in our lives to just take the step forward, and we're gonna fall right in line. I was just like, well, say less. Okay, well, say less. So thank you.
If I may add one more thing, I'm sorry. That I would just want the audience to be known, because sometimes, men won't open up in front of women. So I want them to know. I want to, the speakers is Mr. Paul Johnson and Mr. Kenya Floyd, powerful, powerful men of God. And they will be, those will be the featured speakers for the Big Take Back Men's Summit. And then for the Partners in Purpose, we have the amazing Miss Barbara Ratliff and Miss Alfreda Boney. Okay, Alfreda Boney. Those are the lead women for Partners in Purpose. And these people are amazing. So it is one to tune into, especially because it's free. So I just wanted to say that.
I love that. All right, Alicia.
All right. So we are in the second season of Owning Her Revival Moment. And we're doing a conference this go around. It'll be our first annual conference. But it's going to be hosted in Natchitoches, Louisiana, our hometown. And so, but it's all about reaching the woman who is ready to experience a breakthrough. The theme is something has to break, whether it's shame, guilt, religion, whatever it is that needs to break in your life for you to move forward. That's what we are wanting to experience during this revival moment. So yeah, I'm super excited. It's a free conference as well. And I've been seeing the ladies register, and I'm super excited for it. But to just piggyback off of what Bree's big take back men summit is, you know, I feel, well, I know that, you know, as a woman and as a wife, we have our own purposes, but I try to push my husband just as much as me, you know, to walk in his purpose too. So he's more than a provider, you know, he's more than a father. So in order, you know, and so that's where you are what we call perfectly positioned comes in, because, you know, at one point in time, I was like, God, why, you know, why me? Why I got to be why I got to lead this? But for a long time, I've been in a position where I've been the example for my husband. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Not to say he's less of a leader, but at certain things I'm just better at. And so he's still the head of the house, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna push him to walk in his purpose, and I'm still gonna listen to God as he listens to God, and we come together and we'll make this thing work. But just being, yeah. But only her revival moment taking place September 5th, Natchitoches, Louisiana. I'm super, super excited. This is the first conference that I've ever hosted. And I'm looking forward to having a good time. We're gonna have Pastor Charity White in the house. She's gonna bring an amazing word. Look, y'all, she's kingdom minded, and that's exactly where I want to go. You know, being able to come together and work together and get a good word together and just praise God together. I'm looking forward to having a great time.
I love it. I love all that you all are doing, how you're speaking into the lives of others that are around you, impacting lives across the globe by sharing your voice, sharing your story, sharing your message. But, you know, the impact is going to be multiplied times 100, because those you impact will then go on to impact others. And that's the ripple effect that we look for when we are talking about how are we helping others? How are we, one, prioritizing our mental wellness, but teaching others how to do that as well, right?
Yeah.
And speaking that life into others around us. So let me just formally thank you all again. Thank you, Coach Sherry, for your yes. Thank you for being a part of all things Stop Playing Small, but also sharing your story, sharing your voice, and allowing others to connect with you. Thank you, Dr. Bree Charles. I appreciate your yes. I appreciate you being transparent and sharing the things that you've gone through and how you overcame, and what you're doing now to take your message further and speak life into others, right? And thank you, Alicia Sylve. I appreciate you for stepping forward and not being in the background anymore. I appreciate your voice, because the world needs to hear you. There's this book that I read. It's called The World is Waiting on You. And I believe that the world is waiting on each of us to own where we stand, 10 toes down, all right? 10 toes deep, 10 toes down, whatever it's called. The world is waiting on us to stand firm in who we are, what we believe, moving forward and pushing that positive word to the world. And I thank each and one of you for your yes. Thank you for being a part of the Stop Playing Small Summit here in August of 2026. So make sure you all go out and connect with each of the ladies, their websites. We have Coach Sherry, seekingjoyfindinghappy.com. Make sure you connect with Coach Sherry. We have Dr. Bree Charles, b3unstoppable.net. Make sure you connect with Dr. Bree Charles. And then we have Alicia at thesoulexperience.com, where you'll find all things the soul experience and all that she's doing with the your own her revival moment. We're super excited. Revival moment. Okay, with this women's conference that's happening on September 5th. So again, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. And for those who are tuned in now, thank you for joining us. When you catch us in the replay, let us know that you tuned in. And if you know what are your thoughts around prioritizing your mental wellness in the midst of all of the roles that you hold today. So thank you all. Have an amazing day. This has been an amazing conversation on the Stop Playing Small Summit. Have a good one.
Across the globe we're shining bright, telling every culture, every place. We're building love, we're sharing grace. Oh, we see the beauty in every soul. Together we're stronger, making us whole. Legacy lives in all that we do. Mogul TV, it starts with you. Mogul TV, we're changing the game. One voice, one heart, one name. Streaming hope, shining through. A better world for me and you. Mogul TV, where we belong. Our stories live, our hearts stay strong. Mogul TV, we're changing the game. One voice, one heart, one name. 52 countries, love on display. Breaking boundaries every day.